Night, night, don't let the headmistress bite with her nasty, gnarly teeth. What an eccentric performance. The Headmistress was directed by Christopher A. Mickles and Jay Sapero, who did The Nursery. This is also written by Christopher and stars Catherine Bellaton as Mara, a teacher that just wants to do good but does so much good already that her students post pictures like, "We love you, Mara. Thank you for being our teacher. Thank you so much." But Mara, even though she loves her students and wants to do good, she wants to do good lucha things. Oh, goddamn it. Woo! If you're a non-wrestling fan, you have no idea what I'm talking about. She is swimming in debt to the point it's a goddamn ocean. Student loans and mother's medical bills and a whole bunch of other stuff are just weighing down on her to the point it's going to crush her and grind her bones to make a giant's bread. And then they're going to throw her in a wood chipper. She's going to be a pile of just nothing, but is still going to be expected to pay off her debts because that's how debt works. You pay off a little bit, however meagerly, you get more, and it just crushes you until the point you die under a pile of debt. That's depressing. Let's get back to the Headmistress. That is somehow more depressing. Depressing because I think that the idea behind this movie, while not original, could have worked, but oh boy. She inherits this lakefront inn, sees it as her way out, brings some potential buyers, and then they all get besieged by ghosts and tension music, and my god, the tension music. The insane amount of tension music in this movie is fucking baffling. There's Annie. Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Played by Aiden Skye. And then there's Pete, Tom Daisy Carr, and Hunter O'Hara. Oh, sweet O'Hara. There are two pizza guys that are together. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Let people be together. If they're consenting adults and you're not near, just let them be, my dear. Terrible interpretation of that Shakira song. But nevertheless, let people be who they fucking are. And if you don't like the fact that gay people exist, fuck you. Get the fuck off my channel. That being said, back to the movie. So there's also Donovan, played by Thomas McCarthy, who's also called Eugene. Guess they want him to play dual roles for the same paycheck. And then there's a photographer named Nikki, who has a name I'm not going to attempt to pronounce, just want to say. And there are people that could buy this thing. They could buy this lakefront inn that apparently has a massive tragic background. Some of which is obvious just from looking at it, and then some of which is revealed later. But the problem is the paper-thin plot basically doesn't allow for you to be surprised by much of anything. If you have seen one horror movie or been outside for more than 5 minutes, you see exactly where this is going. It turns out that this particular lakefront inn actually used to be a boarding school where there was a headmistress and her brother that ran the school, but then certain things happened that will get revealed in the spoiler section, and let's just say now children, the ghosts of children haunt the goddamn thing, as well as the headmistress, and as well as tension music. My god, the tension music. I'm not even going to fault any of the cast or crew, or really anybody that had anything to do with this movie, as I'm sure they tried their best. But this was a wholly unoriginal, cliche-ridden goddamn dumpster fire. It was terrible. This was very, very terrible. I paid a few bucks to watch it on Amazon because I will not pirate movies. And a few bucks from me and others can actually help people grow to do bigger and better things. So I'm never going to pirate movies, but when I pay for them and I'm disappointed, I have to let people know. And this was sorely disappointing. There were special effects and shots from this particular movie that made it seem like it was filmed in the early 90s. And apparently the copyright said 2021. It possibly languished in production hell due to the low budget, due to the pandemic, due to not finding a distributor. I don't know. And I'm not going to fault that right there. But I will say that this movie seemed to be, the concept of this movie seemed to be conceived by people that had possibly had their brain stems detached when they were in the womb. And again, I'm not knocking the people writing and directing this movie, but the story apparently was made by created by 3 people. There were 3 people that came up with this story. And you could kind of tell at certain points, because certain plot lines are just like thrown out there, and we're just going to heap this, and we're going to have people do really stupid shit and get off in stupid ways. And the funniest thing is the body count isn't particularly high until the very end. And it just doesn't, none of this clicks at all. It also goes back in on itself. First, Mara says that she got the offer from her dad's lawyer, and then we may find out a few things a little bit later. Pete and Dex want to get, the pizza guys want to buy this and create a haunted house touring thing, possibly, because Dex is a haunted house enthusiast. Nikki is there just to take pictures and provide one of the stupidest things outside of the Fatal Frame games, my goodness. And Annie is there. I'm going to say Aiden Sky might have been the one that won me over the most out of this, and I think she has potential to, go on to do some bigger and better roles. And none of the acting is egregiously offensive in this. None of the characters are any good, so you really can't get invested in anybody. And also the fact is, it seems like we did one take, and then we just went with that one instead because we couldn't really afford to do any more takes. This movie doesn't really click at all, and it reaches a conclusion that actually made me laugh. There were several times where I was laughing because, my God, this is actually how they went with the finished product. Holy goddamn shit. So yeah, it's a few bucks on Amazon. Rent it, gather a bunch of friends around, drink, party, have fun. Support independent horror. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. That's all I gotta say right there. So yeah, Mara basically takes everybody out to the woods to go to this house. But the bridge is out, so they have to walk to the woods, through the woods, seemingly 50 to 100 feet. And then they get to the house. And then the house won't let them goddamn leave. The reason the house won't let them leave is because one of them is attached to the goddamn house. Who's attached to the house? Well, gee, I wonder who the hell it is. So it's certainly not Dex and Pete, the pizza guys. Nikki, at one point, the photographer girl, while they're doing the searching and trying to figure out who's going to make the best offer, Donovan makes the offer, but Donovan's also an ultra creepy guy. And Thomas McCarthy did play this role well, I will say that right there. It's almost overly creepy. He keeps hitting on Annie. Granted, hitting on a beautiful woman is one thing, but when she's not interested, stop it, get some help. Aiden Sky does look good, but come on, guys. Don't actually hit on somebody and take the goddamn hint. So anyway, Nikki ends up doing some photography stuff, is shooting around the house, and then eventually, takes some pictures where there's this ladder going up to the attic, and she takes a picture and then sees feet at the bottom of the ladder, or at the top of the ladder. Oh, shoot. Wait, I can't see anything. Let me take another picture. Let me not run. Let me not leave down this hallway and get out. Let me take another picture, and oh shit, and then I get lifted up and I'm dead. Good job, Blondie. Call me! Yeah, that was just straight out of a bad Fatal Frame game. And then there's Help Us scribbled all over the goddamn walls. It becomes very obvious the weird shit's going on. They try to leave, but the car is gone. They think it's Nikki. No, Nikki's dead. They don't know that, but come on, Nikki. And then they stay in the house. They apparently don't want to pay the electrical bill at night, so they get lanterns. And then they start seeing weird things. Dex starts seeing Pete wandering around. They find some weird shit in the basement. They also find a church that, an old chapel that just happens to be there. What the hell's going on? It turns out that, it used to be a boarding school with a church and stuff like that. And then, Dex tells the story of the headmistress, where the headmistress and the brother, they were twins. And then the brother treated the students cruelly. And then the headmistress tried to stop it. And then the headmistress got AR'd by her own brother. And impregnated by her own brother. And then got the baby taken away from her by her own brother. Yeah. Then she went nuts and treated the students cruelly, and then everybody died. Then she haunted them for beyond the grave, because movie? Well, then he says, night, night, don't let the headmistress bite. And then Dex goes basically insane, seeing weird shit. We get more ghosts of kids as Mara keeps hunting around and trying to figure out all this stuff. And then, basically what ends up being revealed, Dex knew about the stuff with the headmistress and everything. Other people didn't. And then Mara reveals that, it wasn't her dad that did this. She reveals to Pete, the dark-haired one, this is what happened, actually. 35 years ago, it was a resort, and then, 8 kids died in a couple incidents. Then they closed it down. Apparently, Jason Voorhees was around. Then, 25 years later, they opened it up. And then a guy killed his family and slit his own throat. Apparently, Chris Benoit was staying there. Actually, that wouldn't have been 10 years ago. That would have been almost 16 years ago now. Man, if only they had tapped. Moving on. They shut the place down. And then we cut there's this particular scene where they imply that Donovan's character, who actually was possessed by the brother of the twin brother's ghost, if you're with me so far, and he attacked Annie. Yeah, attacked her in that way. Don't do that. That's terrible. Anybody that attacks anybody in that way deserves to be executed. I mean, the characters, but still. So Annie's traumatized. They're trying to take care of her. Then that scene happens I told you about with Mara and Pete. And then Annie is wandering around in her shirt and underwear. Why they just had her do that, I don't know. She wanders into the little chapel area that apparently is a short jaunt from the living room. And there's all these candles and everything. And then the headmistress attacks her. This is a scene that seems like it was straight out of the early 90s. It was actually baffling, special effects wise, and everything. It's incredible. And Mara, it turns out her mother was the baby that was taken, and that the headmistress and the brother are her grandmother and grandfather. So they can't leave. Mara says, I have to stay and pay my debts. You don't, though. Could just use an axe to get out of the house. So Pete and Dex leave, and then there's this one scene where Mara's up in the attic where the brother had done that to his own sister, and they had this nasty teeth headmistress that was absolutely terrible. Doing this, like Zoidberg, would have actually been better. That's how bad it looked. It looked really bad. And so Mara's dead, seemingly. She's in this picture that's been displayed the whole goddamn time because she's finally home. And then Pete and Dex are like, no, we're just going to go make pizza and not invest in haunted houses. This movie didn't know what it wants to be, and it ends up getting an F because it's terrible. It's just terrible. Looking forward to seeing what else the people can do. I mean, hell, hopefully they can do better projects. Aiden Sky, again, won me over in this. So, nevertheless, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Wicklund. I'll see you soon.